If you're a warrior and you're leading warriors and you're about to step into battle, one of the key things you must have is an absolute confidence, because that radiates out of you. You're giving to them the warrior spirit. Semper Fidelis means that if you are a foe before me, I will not quit until you fall.
What keeps you awake at night?
Nothing. I keep other people awake at night.
The Marine just plain considers himself a better soldier than anybody else. Marines have never given anyone any reason to think differently.
We are unique, not just among our fellow citizens, but among all those who defend our nation. We are defined by our warfighting ethos, our intangible warrior spirit that moves us forward into any battle, in any domain, and binds us not only to the Marine on our left and right, but to all Marines who came before us. Current events around the world show us that peace is far from guaranteed. America's adversaries continue to present an ever-evolving threat to our nation's prosperity and security. Today, almost 31,000 Marines are forward deployed or stationed abroad. In every theater, in every time and place, standing ready to confront those who would do our nation harm.
The American strength is based upon the fabric of all of the different cultures and people that come to it. And that applies on the battlefield, and I've seen that there. That is an essence of the power of the American fighting spirit.
For 247 years, capable and determined adversaries have tested the Marine Corps.
The enemy knows when they see that EGA and they see a real Marine hooked to that EGA, that could be a serious situation.
On each occasion, our forebears gave them reason to fear and respect the title United States Marine. Our adversaries have always had a choice: abandon their aggressions or stand and fight. Some chose to fight and were destroyed. Today, our adversaries still have a choice, and they know if they choose to fight, they will be defeated. From the wheat fields of Belleau Wood, to the volcanic sands of Iwo Jima, to the crowded streets of Hue City or Ramadi, Marines prove time and time again they will claim victory on any battlefield.
Our mission was stay on the compound. Well, things happen, situations change, and we got a call that Gunny from the Marine Security Guard Force, the RSO, and their driver were involved in a vehicle accident. We were driven out to the crash site, Liberian rebels armed to the teeth with anything that they had. We had to do a makeshift backboard and stabilized them and got all of our personnel. You're trained for it, but there's variables in there that you could never prepare for. And so you just go with it.
And while battlefields and technologies change, the qualities of a Marine are timeless. Grit, strength, boldness, discipline, initiative, adaptability, honor, courage, and commitment.
It would be impossible for me to say with any amount of confidence that I would be where and who I am today if I didn't have the foundation of being a Marine. The Marine Corps and how it shapes us, and the history of courage and sacrifice that we fill the shoes of and that we follow. It's almost impossible to not continue on and to not want to become the best version of yourself personally, but professionally as a Marine as well.
These qualities were birthed by the legacy of the old breed, those like Herschel Woody Williams.
He really just was a huge inspiration. Growing up, I loved warrior figures, and he was the main one.
It's the legacy of the Marines who came before us, and of our Marines today. When the nation calls, we answer. As America's premier crisis response force, Marines thrive in chaotic situations where friction is highest.
We have to always understand that there's always been troops on the deck taking the fight to the enemy on their distant lands.
We are proud to be first to fight, and we are ready today and tomorrow. Standing ready with undying devotion to the Corps, to the mission, and to each other.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
In 2001, when our nation was still reeling from the September 11th terrorist attacks, Marines aboard the USS Peleliu and the USS Bataan came from the sea and launched the longest amphibious raid in history.
We came 370 miles from the sea, 25 aircraft. During one period of darkness, we inserted 400 Marines over that distance. We did what we say that we do. We did it in an expeditionary manner. We did it from the ships, and despite a lot of risk, we did it successfully.
The same warfighting spirit that secures our victory in combat comes from our ability to innovate, to iterate, to adapt. And we find inspiration in each other.
I remember my first cat shot in an F-18 into a combat zone. And that was a whirlwind of emotions, right? You're ready to go, you've practiced, you're trained, but you're a little bit nervous. That nervousness, though, I think is good, right? It keeps you sharp.
She's more than an astronaut. She is a Marine whose warfighter ethos shapes who she is. A battle-tested warrior with 47 combat missions in Iraq and Afghanistan.
When I'm sitting on top of that rocket and they start to load the prop and it starts to shake and rumble, I hope that I feel a little bit nervous, keeps me sharp. I hope, though, that I have this calmness, knowing that I'm trained, my crew is trained, we are ready to go. And I hope that the second that we launch from planet Earth, that all just disappears and we're in the moment.
While those who threaten our nation remain, America sleeps well at night knowing the future will be no different. Because the Marines are always standing ready.
Across the force, we continue to innovate and experiment in preparation for the future fight. Where we will fight might be uncertain, but we prepare for uncertainty. When called, we will fight and we will win. Today, tomorrow, and in the future. These victories are not won because of our technology or our equipment, but because of all of you. Because of everything you do every day to remain the best trained, most professional, most ready force in the world. That has not changed.
We are warfighters first and always. If the call comes today to go into combat, we will win. But that's no excuse not to be better tomorrow. It is the individual Marines who make up the team. They are the decisive advantage. Whether in combat or in competition, training our future Marines at recruit training, or preparing to deploy on one of our Marine expeditionary units, we have always adapted to the changing character of war. Why we fight and why we win is unchanged. It is our ethos, our character, and our unapologetic resolve to be the most capable and most lethal fighting force in the world.
Marines, You are writing the next chapter of our Corps. Our legacy rests upon your shoulders, and I'm confident you will meet the task.
Semper Fidelis. Happy birthday, Marines.